The days after Luca's departure felt hollow, as if the city itself had dimmed in his absence. Pia tried to throw herself into her photography, capturing the vibrant streets and quiet corners. But every image felt incomplete. Her lens missed him, his presence, his music, the way he seemed to draw light into every frame. She heard from him sporadically, short messages that revealed little. "I'm okay. Hope you're good. Found a spot in the mountains. It's quiet here. Still playing. Thinking about you." The last one stayed with her for days. One afternoon, as the winter wind beat through her coat, Pia found herself wandering into the music store Luca had once mentioned. The old man behind the counter greeted her with a kind smile, and a faint smell of wood polish and sheet music filled the air. "Looking for anything in particular?" the man asked. She hesitated, then shook her head. "Just browsing." Her fingers traced the edge of a guitar on display, its polished surface gleaming under the warm light. It wasn't Luca's, but it reminded her of him nonetheless. "You play?" the man asked, noting her interest. "No," Pia said with a faint smile, "but someone I care about does." "Ah," the man said knowingly. "Music has a way of connecting people, even when they're apart." The words lingered as Pia left the shop, the weight of her longing pressing heavier on her chest. Weeks passed, and winter gave way to the first hints of spring. Pia's photography began to shift. Her frames felt lighter, more hopeful. She poured her feelings into her work, capturing the city's transition as though it mirrored her own. One afternoon, she received an email from a gallery she had submitted her work months ago. They wanted to feature her photographs in an upcoming exhibit titled "Echoes of the City." It felt like a lifeline. The night of the exhibit, Pia stood among a crowd of art enthusiasts and curious onlookers. Her photos adorned the walls, each one telling a story of resilience, of finding beauty in every day. She watched as people moved from image to image, their reactions ranging from quiet contemplation to visible awe. "Your work is incredible," a voice said behind her. Pia turned, expecting to see another patron, but her breath caught. Luca stood there, his guitar case slung over his shoulder, his expression a mixture of pride and something deeper. "What are you doing here?" she asked, her voice barely audible over the murmurs of the crowd. "I couldn't stay away," he said simply. "Not from you." Her heart raced as she searched his face for answers. "Did you figure things out?" "Not everything," he admitted, "but I realized something while I was gone. Music isn't enough for me. Not without you." Tears pricked at her eyes as she stepped closer. "Luca." "I'm serious, Pia," he said, his voice steady. "Every song I wrote, every note I played, it all came back to you. You're the one who makes it real." She let out a shaky laugh, wiping at her eyes. "You always know what to say, don't you?" He grinned, the boyish charm she'd missed so much lighting up his face. "I had a lot of time to practice." They stood there, the noise of the gallery fading into the background. "Play for me," Pia said suddenly, her voice steady. "Here?" Luca asked, glancing around at the crowd. "Why not?" she challenged, a spark in her eyes. He hesitated, then set down his guitar case and pulled out his instrument. As the first chords filled the room, heads turned, the soft melody weaving through the air. Pia watched him, her heart full. The song was familiar yet new, like an old memory reborn. When he finished, the room erupted into applause, but all Luca saw was her. "Come with me," he said, stepping closer. "Where?" "Anywhere," he said, his voice earnest. "Everywhere. Let's stop running, Pia. Together." She smiled, her tears falling freely now. "Okay." And for the first time, neither of them felt unfinished. They were whole, together. The world stretched out before them like an unwritten song, and they were ready to create it, one note and one frame at a time.